Lastly, Zeigarnik Hypnosis is a concept in which people have the inability to move their mind from an unresolved matter. Most famously illustrated over 1,000 years ago when the Persian queen Shahrazad narrated the story The Night to her husband King Shahryar, who vowed that he will execute a new bride every day. For 1,001 nights, the queen kept alive by telling her husband a story each night, stopping at dawn with a cliffhanger, forcing her husband to keep her alive always just one more day, needing to know what happens next. It's called cognitive closure, more commonly illustrated in movies, right? Like, whose first scene is the ending, but then the movie jumps back to the beginning while you keep engaged the whole way, trying to figure out how did it all happen, right? In practice, akin to our presentation, so far, don't coward yourself from making such bold proclamations you ethically believe are attainable. When introducing yourself as an ethical individual, your bold proclamations create an implicit Zeigarnik effect. It is natural for your audience to be skeptical of such bold proclamations to be pure hyperbole, at best, and like lies at worst, which is inconsistent with the ethical person you are proving to be. That disconnect is a mystery to your audience, and as you have taken notice, demands one's full attention in attaining cognitive closure and resolving this matter internally. When you're accepted as an ethical communicator by crafting your presentation to be consistent with your core values, the bold proclamations are seen as valid, as no ethical person has the ability to lie so grandly. In seeking to resolve this matter internally, still, your audience will naturally continue to seek as to why they feel the skepticism. After accepting you're not the reason, they then self-reflect and accept it is their own capability that will likely be the risk to success. It is at this point they have shifted their focus from the credibility of the proclamation to the limit of their individual capabilities. It is in this moment they've transformed you from a salesman to an authority within your industry. And that transformation will happen organically as a result of simply sharing a bold proclamation, along with presenting yourself as an ethical communicator. The result being they will look to you to solve their fear of being incapable, rather than skeptical of your qualifications. To put ourselves in position to lead the focus of our audience before ever getting into our presentation is invaluable. Even more so, in our failure to understand when influence begins, we leave a vacuum in place of this path that's being created. In this vacuum, our audience is left to build their own path by themselves. They do so by accessing their most high probability assumptions, none of which are very flattering to a salesman. Some of the most frustrating mysteries to those in our industry is when they feel they've done everything right and see no success, that our target was reluctant from the beginning. The confusion of why their audience continues to shut them down, some nicely, some not so nicely. The reason always is the salesman had mistaken when influence actually starts, when the path of expectations have actually been built. By the time they get into their routine of their presentation, they're unaware of the cognitive bias their audience now has of them. Everyone has been approached by many salesmen in their lives, right? It's like girls being approached by guys. They just know it. The majority have been mostly awful. That has been the overwhelming experience. Therefore, in the vacuum, you have left your target to build his expectations of one of a typical salesman. And he will look for examples to confirm you are typical, then disconfirmations proving you are extraordinary. You may remember hearing your target sometimes say after they buy, wow, you're really, much more than I expected. That shouldn't be a compliment. That's you not doing your job correctly. It's because you allowed him to build expectations of you that were most probable that you were simply some typical salesman and you force yourself to swim upstream and downstream. You're not a salmon. Stop it.